Al-Qaeda in Yemen is claiming responsibility for last week's deadly attack on a news magazine in Paris. Their top commander praised the terrorists as brave men and heroes, saying they acted in revenge for the Prophet.
The Al-Qaeda leader also issued a warning to the West. More tragedies and terror are still to come. Charlene Aaron has that story.
The hunt is on for other members of the terror cell responsible for last week's deadly attacks in France. 14 victims were killed in the attacks along with the 3 gunmen. The magazine Charlie Hebdo had drawn ire for repeatedly depicting Muhammad.
The terrorists who attacked us want hatred between people. They also want hatred between the people they believe they are defending.
In a video, the top leader of Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch has claimed responsibility for the massacre. Nasra al-Ansi appeared in a video saying that the attack was in retaliation for the Prophet and that France belongs to the party of Satan. He also warned of more tragedies and terror. In the wake of the terror attacks, France's prime minister is demanding tougher anti-terrorism measures, saying France is at war against terrorism, jihadism, and radical Islam. Investigators say the 2 brothers who massacred the staff at Charlie Hebdo had accomplices because the weapons used in the attacks came from abroad. That's why authorities in several countries are searching for possible accomplices and the sources of financing. On Tuesday, authorities in Bulgaria arrested a French citizen who may be linked to the 2 brothers who attacked the magazine. But officials believe the girlfriend of the gunman who killed 4 people at a Jewish supermarket has escaped to join ISIS in Syria. France remains on its highest alert level this week, and security services in Britain are on high alert in the wake of the killings. New threats have also been aimed at U.S. airports. And lawyers for Boston Marathon suspect Johar Tsarnaev have asked a judge to suspend jury selection in the trial for at least a month, saying a delay would allow some time for the extraordinary prejudice flowing for these events. Meanwhile, the first edition of Charlie Hebdo since the terror attacks has a picture of the Prophet Muhammad on the front cover. It's sold out at newsstands across France within minutes of going on sale today. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Regardless of which rich radical group takes credit for this, we need to look. The source here is Islam. When you start looking at the whole history of this news magazine and the number of efforts to shut it down coming from sources within Islam, and whether that's the French Council of Islam or the Grand Mosques of Paris and Lyon, or the firebombing, or the need to have protective police surround you, all because of what you're publishing in a news magazine. The source is Islam, and it seems to spontaneously produce this kind of radical behavior. In other news, the former fire chief of Atlanta has a strong message for Christians in America. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Gordon, hundreds of supporters of Atlanta Fire Chief Kevin Cochran rallied at Georgia's state capitol Tuesday. It was a protest against what they believe was unjust persecution for his religious beliefs. Cochran was suspended and then fired for a self-published book that describes homosexuality as a perversion. At Tuesday's rally, Cochran said his termination sent a message to Bible-believing Christians that you'd better keep your mouth shut or you'll be fired. Supporters also signed a petition in Cochran's support.
I'm going to personally take that letter into the mayor's office and just demonstrate that the Christian community is standing as well.
Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed says Cochran was fired for poor judgment, not for his faith. Reed says the city's ethics officer never gave Cochran approval to publish his book, but Cochran says he did. The mayor argues Cochran left the city open to discrimination lawsuits. Cochran says he did not discriminate against anyone. Republicans in the House of Representatives are trying to block the president's executive action on immigration. House Speaker John Boehner says the aim is to stop the president's overreach of his authority. He says President Obama's executive action violates the Constitution. It is unclear if the House's move will pass in the Senate. Well, if you want to keep your heart healthy, try being optimistic. A new study finds that people who are the most optimistic have twice the odds of having ideal cardiovascular health compared to those who are more pessimistic. Researchers studied more than 5,000 adults between 45 and 84 over the course of 11 years, and they found that optimists also had significantly better blood sugar and total cholesterol levels. So staying optimistic can not only help you emotionally, it helps your physical health as well. That's good news we can all use. Well, those are today's top stories from CBN News.